Acquisitions, mergers, and company name changes have become so prevalent in today's business climate that lasting relationships are becoming the exception instead of the rule. Armstrong International believes that continuity and consistency are key attributes for the success of any organization. Family-owned and operated since 1900, today the fourth and fifth generations of the Armstrong and Bloss families lead the global enterprise. This legacy of leadership serves as a lasting foundation for Armstrong that will see the company through the next century and beyond.
To me, one of the most important things that I saw from my grandfather and dad was how they treated people and were treated.
That's, I think, one of the good things that we do in the company is the golden rule. We follow by the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And I see that a lot in the company. There's not one person that's greater than the other. No matter what position they're in, we treat everybody equally.
There isn't a simple formula for corporate longevity. It's a careful balance of nurturing a hard-working, honest culture and building enduring customer relationships. Armstrong believes that upholding basic values is not only the right thing to do, it's the difference between having a one-time customer and having a lifelong customer.
What would you say is probably the greatest thing that happens when we have customers at our companies? What do you think the biggest, greatest thing is that the result is?
I think it's not what they hear, it's what they see.
It's not that you convince them that that's the best product in the world right there. It's that you believe in them and what they need and want, and therefore, obviously, it is a great product and it will work, and if it doesn't, we'll fix it. That's what really carries us. That's what makes the difference between having a one-time customer and a lifelong customer.
And I think that's the word, the lifelong part of it. You know, being part of a family company, we think long-term. There's not this anxiety where you've got to persuade a customer to do something that perhaps he doesn't. If he's not ready, you know, we can be patient. We're here for a century and longer, and I think that's the really refreshing thing about working for a family company, is that we can and do think long-term. It's a nice feeling.
For 5 generations, the Armstrong family has fostered the vision of creating enjoyable experiences for every customer, partner, and employee. These values have been passed from generation to generation of family leadership, and along the way to every Armstrong employee throughout the world.
I was interested in your views as to just what would you like to be able to look back on in a few more years out, and gee, that's something I was a part of and I really liked it. What would be the most important parts?
To use the expression that my brother coined years ago, was enjoyable experiences. I think that coined it, or that summarized it perfectly, that we're here to give enjoyable experiences to our employees, customers, people in the community. As you guys get older and you start having more responsibility and leading more people, it is a great expression that really does summarize why we're here, is to provide enjoyable experiences. And the other thing too is to be known that if we could have brought somebody that's touched our company closer to God, if we could have helped them with their family, that would be something that I'd be very honored and happy about.
The core values are the same things that I was brought up on, and to see that translated in a business side is just fascinating. And as we progress and move forward, I think we need to be mindful of our past and the culture that you built, that your father built, and try to stick along those same paths and, you know, live that throughout our life, not just while we work, but also keep those you know, morals and pass them on.
We didn't have a culture class before we started working at Armstrong. You guys didn't go out and tell us, hey, do these simple things. That was ingrained in us since we've been growing up, and the fishing trips that you take us on, us getting to know each other better as a family.
When Armstrong was founded more than a century ago, the concept of a global enterprise would have been difficult to imagine. But just as new opportunities brought global growth, Armstrong has maintained its focus on delivering shared knowledge and seamless execution everywhere in the world.
We've grown from a US-based company to an international company. And the companies that we serve, that we have the privilege to serve, are Fortune 500 leaders in their industry. They seek us out for our knowledge, for who we are, what we have. And it's not good enough for them to stop on our shores, that they want us to follow them globally. It really becomes a responsibility. If you desire to have, to be the utilities leader, the solution provider for your customers, it becomes an obligation. And we're poised to do that all over the world, and we get complimented that there's a consistency of performance at Armstrong, that there's this shared knowledge that transfers to good execution everywhere in the world.
I think fearless comes to mind. I think that we've ingrained in ourselves to not be afraid of entering into new markets and these different things. And I think some people get a little concerned when they see this change happen, but to continue to grow as a company, we need to look for those new opportunities. We can't just stay status quo all the time. No. And I think that's great.
Yes. One thing that's certain is that in our field, in the thermal energy field, utilities, it's not really taught in school. We have a heritage which gives us a really unique advantage, but almost a responsibility that, you know, we're not the only ones competing in a global marketplace today. Our customers are required to be best in class in making food, in refining oil, in processing chemicals. There's such a preoccupation with that they need someone that is a resident expert, someone they can trust, someone they can rely on, someone that has a heritage. Here we are. We sit in a very unique position today. And as I tell our salespeople, you have to look a little more introspectively. Who else is better than Armstrong at doing this? The truth is, no one in the world.
A legacy of leadership, built on the belief that you should do unto others as you would have them do unto you. As this legacy is carried forward, expect basic values like loyalty, dignity, and respect to continue to serve Armstrong well into the future. And above all, always expect many enjoyable experiences.